there, my crafty friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada. And this month, for the Creativity Without Borders online class to go, Kelly and I are using the Peaceful Boughs bundle. So this includes this gorgeous stamp set and set of dies. And we have each designed 2 cards. The project that we're showing you today are bonus projects, but we have designed 4 cards with this bundle, and for $55 Canadian you will receive the supplies to make 8 cards, so 2 of each of those 4 cards. You will receive the cardstock, you will receive a half a pack of the Regal's DSP, half a pack of the metallic pearl, so half gold, half silver. You will receive a roll of linen thread, and you will receive 4 6x6 sheets of the champagne, copper, gold, and silver metallic foils. So you are getting the equivalent of a 12x12 sheet of each of those 4 different metallic foils. So you cannot go wrong. There will be an option to add the bundle, which is $71 Canadian plus taxes and shipping. And I will have a link to my form so that you can request this class. I will send you a PayPal invoice, and the deadline to register is Friday, November 15th, and kits will ship no later than Saturday, November 30th, providing there's no back orders. There's a little bit on my blog post today about back ordered items because I've run into this in the last 2 months. So for my bonus project today, we are going to make this super fun card. So it's probably pretty hard to see. There are a lot of details on this card, but we are it's a super fun one to make, and this isn't one that you would want to make en masse for, say, everyone that you're sending a card to, but it sure is a beauty if you have just 1 or 2 or a couple. So I have got, we're working in garden green, so I have a top folding garden green card base. I have a 4x5 1/4 piece of Very Vanilla for the insert. I have a 3 7/8 by 4 7/8 piece of garden green, and then I have a piece of the Toile Tidings DSP. It just goes so perfectly with the garden green paper. So I wanted to show you how I'm doing this part here. So I used a different pattern in there, but we're going to cut both of these at the same time, and then I'm going to show you how to do the card base so that it all aligns. Okay, so now we have those 2 cut, and you could probably cut all 3 at the same time, but it seems like a lot of cardstock for this die to go through. So these ones cut out just perfectly. You can hang on to that for another project. Peel this off, and now we want to cut out our card base. Now, I just realized I have this backwards, but that's okay. This is double-sided, so it's going to go like that, and we won't see the red part of it. It will be green on the back side. We want to line it up on here so that we have it in the same place. So let's put our piece of DSP back in here, and we're just going to line it up. Put that in place. And we're just going to cut through it this way this time. I know that that's backwards, but it doesn't really matter for this part of it. Okay, so I'll run that through my Big Shot. Okay, so now we can pull that part out, and we can actually glue this DSP down while we're here. You want to be very careful lifting your washi tape. You don't want it to tear at this point. I usually remove some of the stick from my washi tape before I do this, and I didn't. to remove the stick, all you're going to do is just stick it to your finger or your pants a few times. Easy peasy. Okay, so actually no, we're not going to adhere this because it will be covering up some of that. So let's just set that aside for the time being. Now what we can do next is we are going to emboss this using the Scripty embossing folder. So you could ink it up with garden green, you could ink it up with the gold delicata, you can leave it as is, which is how I'm going to do it. Now this is a 3D embossing folder, so we do want to use our 3D embossing plate. There we go. Now I took an extra step. I used a gold Sharpie and I just went along the edges. And it can be as neat or as messy as you want it to be. It can just stay on the edge. It can go in a bit. You could also do this with your delicata ink and a sponge dauber. I wanted a little bit more control. Okay, so that is ready to just go on there. Now we need to do all of our pine boughs. And I have my pine cones already cut out. I have done one of the large and two of the small in early espresso, one of the large and two of the small in soft suede. So we'll take another scrap of garden green, and we need at least one of each of these. And they should all fit on our piece of cardstock. So you're just going to cut out one of each. We have 1, 2, 3. There might be, I think I cut these ones apart. So I'll be right back with those. Okay, so we need to put some glue just on our ends here. I'm just putting a little bit here, there, and everywhere. Place that down, and you can have it going either way. I want one of them to come popping out, but I think we'll save that for the next. Let's just do that. I want to cut this piece off because that will not be covered by our little mat. Okay, and don't worry about any glue that's on there. We're going to be using puff paint, so that will cover it. Now we're going to add this little guy, and this one can go on the outside. Okay. And just put a little bit of glue there. That's too much. And you can still have that popping up a little bit, but secured. Okay, we'll cut this piece. And now we just have one more, and that one can kind of go there, and it is going to be popping up as well. I thought it was nice to have the ones that are behind and then ones that are a little bit interactive. Okay, so there we go. And now we can add our pine cones, and I'll show you a trick for that. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. I'll put it on here. for two reasons. One, I want to save my grid paper, and two, this way you can see it. So just squeeze out some Tombow and then add a little bit to the back of your pine cone, and that will give you enough adhesive to stick it without seeing it all, or without it taking 5 years to get all the adhesive on there that you need while keeping it invisible. So I keep a sponge dauber dedicated for this process. I just keep it on the end of my fine tip glue pen. So it just sits like that. It's sticky to the touch, but works every time. Not a lot of glue on that one. Okay, so now we're going to adhere this one on. Be sure not to stick it to your grid paper. One up here. And one down here. Okay. Now for our puff paint. Remember I said that I was cutting this on the wrong side. Well, I'm not sure if you can see that, but I've got all the marks from my Big Shot plate. So you know what? We don't have to keep that as the front. We can just flip it over, fold and burnish our score line, and now that's the front. So this part will be covered by our little insert. So we have it perfectly lined up and we can cover the marks. It's a win-win-win. Okay, so now we are ready to do our puff paint. And we're gonna do that before we adhere it because we don't want to warp our card base. Oops, we also don't want to get that stuck. Okay, so that is that. If you noticed, I hit it a bit on the back. That helps to kind of bring any warping back. So it lays a little more flat than it might have originally. Okay, so we are ready to glue this on, and I will tell you that when I went to put this one on, it shifted ever so slightly, and the Tombow had already set. So we're going to try to avoid that this time around. You could pop this up on dimensionals, but given how many pieces there are here, it would kind of be a nuisance. So I recommend just glue. And now this is where it gets tricky because you can't really see where you're lining it up. But make sure it's straight because once it starts to set, it's not going anywhere. There we go, it's straight this time. There we go. It's time to adhere this piece. Oh no. Well, we're covering that anyways, so no biggie. You could use snail on this piece too. Now again, you want to line it up. So really the only finicky part about this card is lining up to that window Look, I put all that glue. That was kind of silly. I didn't need to do that. So I'm gonna hit that with my embossing buddy and it will de-stick. Okay, and now we have, our very vanilla layer. We can adhere that piece. I should say that if you want to stamp your sentiment in there, it is always a smart idea to stamp it before you adhere it. So I am just going to use my gold delicata, and there was bad news about that this week as well. That has been discontinued. Well, all three of them have, but the copper sold out so fast that when they replenished it, it was gone almost instantly. So they were popular and they will be missed. So with my delicata, I seldom get a good impression the first time, so I always stamp it onto a scrap, always. Now here, I want to make sure that you can't really see it through there, so we're going to put it up at the top. Wouldn't hurt if you can see it, but I don't want it to take away from my window. And my DSP went a little bit too high, so it's kind of creating a weird little fold there. Okay, so I think just two things left. Look how nice it looks with that cardstock in there, and if I hadn't glued that, it would look even better. So if you do something silly like that, you could put a piece of vellum, or you can use your adhesive eraser. I'm not going to sit and make you watch that. That would be like watching paint dry. Okay, so two more things. One is I have some pearls that I want to adhere. On my sample, I had used some of the holiday rhinestones, but that's not coming in your class kit. So let's use some of the gold metallic pearls, because those are coming in your kit. You're getting a half a pack of the gold and a half pack of the silver. So a full pack altogether. Doesn't quite stand out as much as the red did, but you get the gist. And our final step. We're using some of this beautiful shimmer ribbon. This is from the Christmas Time is Here suite. This was just released to customers on November 1st. It is a limited time offer. And it's not like the product medleys or the previous suites where you had to purchase everything. You can purchase what you want. So you can purchase just the ribbon, or just the stamp set, or just the bundle, or those gorgeous glimmer dots. So I wanted this gold ribbon. It's beautiful, like brushed gold. It's not obnoxious. I feel bad because I'm wasting all this. So all we need to do, we're going to trim that one a little bit more, is pop this on a glue dot. We're going to just pop it in the corner there. Isn't that beautiful? Now I will say that the red does add a little something, but I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll give you one final look on the inside. So we've got the Dwell Tidings DSP in both. So that is all for today, my crafty friends. I hope that you enjoyed that, and I hope that you will purchase the Peaceful Boughs Creativity Without Borders class from Kelly or I. Depends which country you are in. If you are in Canada, you're shopping with me, and if you are in the US, you are shopping with Kelly. But we have each designed 2 cards in the class, so we will be making 2 of each for a total of 8 cards. You have the option to add the bundle. Otherwise, it comes with the cardstock, it comes with the metallic foil DSP, the linen thread, the metallic pearls, and a half pack of the Regal's DSP. So that is all for today, and if you haven't hit that big subscribe button below, please do so, and you will catch 2 new videos each and every week. So we will see you again soon, my friends. Bye.